Hey guys, it's Tom from Tabletop Republic, and we are on day 5 of Magic the Gathering Core Set 2021 previews. So we've done 3 videos so far. This is video number 4. We've got some really good cards coming today. First up, let's just jump straight into what Magic the Gathering have announced themselves. This was on their daily MTG article bit on their website. Involving lands, we get the temples returning for M21. They were last seen in the last core set 2020, but it's not exactly a exciting land drop, but it's not bad. They're not bad duo lands to shove in some decks if needed, but people are expecting better lands, but they've essentially just shoved these in just because they're going to go out during rotation, pretty much. Saying all these were last seen in the last core set. People know what they are. Just the come in tapped scry 1, but they are quite useful if they don't come in tapped. Then, speaking of lands, they showed off the Chandra specific showcase board on a mountain. So we had the Chandra specific cards last time. This one is the mountain. Some people aren't fans of these like curly mountains, the non-mountain looking mountains. I don't mind too much. I'd be too much focusing on the border too much because it's really nice. I do like this border style. It just makes it look like you've set your card alight, which is great. Then finally from Daily MTG, one of the staff members posted the Cultivate alternate art. However, this version of Cultivate is a rare, which is quite odd. So Cultivate normally is uncommon, but this borderless alt-art version is rare, so people are wondering whether or not it will replace a normal the rare in a normal deck or something like that. I didn't quite see if they replied to it, because the guy who posted it was just like, I have no idea. But I assume it will just be in things like collector boosters and things like that, where it won't matter that much, but I'd be annoyed if I only got a Cultivate as a rare, because it's not the best card. It's not bad, but it's definitely not rare worthy. Then we have the In-Magic community. Now, saying the In-Magic community is what Wizards themselves put on the here's who's showing off the cards. No one's really sure what it is, or who they are, but I assume it's literally just a bunch of generic community members, because I have 3 here from people that didn't actually fit today's card, like today's league. Not leaks, previews, so I've just shoved them all in this category. So you've got Nerd Culture here, who has previewed Pursued Whale. So you've got Moby Dick here. When it enters, each opponent creates a pirate with a couple of abilities, and spells that target Pursued Whale cost 3 more. Now for a 7 mana 8/8, it's not bad, but it won't be seeing pretty much any standard play unless it can be cheated out somehow, and even then it's not the best abilities, but it could be good in some janky decks, especially with the fact it costs 3 more. You could sort of build this as a Voltron. Then you've got Stormwing's Presence. Can't remember exactly who this was teased by, but as you can see, it's not. I believe it's in Korean. So I've got the translation here. So obviously it costs 3 blue. It costs 2 and a blue less, so it only costs 1 and a blue. If an instant or sorcery has been cast this turn, it's got flying, it's got prowess, and when it enters the battlefield, scry 2. Not too bad. It's really good for 1 and a blue. If you can do that for 1 and a blue, it's really good. And if it's in a blue deck, you're going to be casting an instant or sorcery, and because it doesn't have haste, you have no reason not to cast it after you do some instants or sorceries in the first main phase or combat phase. So I like this card. This one's going to be quite good, I reckon. Then you've got Treacherous Greed. It is another gain control of type card. So this one is gain control of a creature until end of turn. You untap it, it gains haste. However, unlike Act of Treason, you add 2 mana of any colour as well. So essentially it's a 1 cheaper version of Act of Treason. which is really good. I'm looking forward to this one. Although it's 4 mana, you won't be shoving 4 in your deck. But for those kind of steal your opponent's cards kind of decks, I'm looking forward to adding some new cards for it. Then, along with the grouped cards theme, Wizards via their fan email sent out a card and 3 cards. One card that ties them all together, and 2 sort of side cards. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's Alpine Houndmaster. Here, when it enters the battlefield, search your library for Alpine Watchdog and/or Ignatius Cur. Reveal and put in your hand, shuffle your library, so you can draw 2 cards from this. And when it attacks, it gets a little boost if it's attacking with other creatures. But you may be wondering, Alpine Watchdog and Ignatius Cur, they're new. They are. You got Alpine Watchdog here. He's a good boy. He's a 2/2 with vigilance. And you got Ignatius Cur. He's a hot dog. He's a 1/2. Not the best cards, but could be quite good in draft scenarios if you manage to get all of them, because drawing 2 cards from playing 1 is pretty good. Then we've got just the sort of generic one-off cards that weren't grouped together, so these individual reveals. You've got Heroic Intervention. This is a reprint. People are hyped for this one. This is an amazing card. It was really expensive pretty much until the announcement, but 2 mana, permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible to end of turn. That is an EDH staple in green, and the fact it's coming out again is amazing. They're knocking these reprints out of the park this time. People are really happy, including me. You've got a new card, Direfleet Warbringer. He is a pirate. We're getting some pirates in this set. So at the beginning of combat, you can sacrifice a creature. If you do, this creature gets +2/2 and trample until end of turn. Of course, it's a black-red trample. Black-red sacrifice-based card. No surprise there. Could see some use. You can only sacrifice 1, so there is a slight limit. But possibly might see some use, but I'm not expecting miracles. Then German card, Volcanic Salvo. So this normally costs 12 mana. However, it costs X less, where X is the total power of your creatures you control. It just does 6 damage to up to 2 creatures or planeswalkers. So if you have loads of stuff on the board, it only costs 2 mana to deal 12 damage to things. Could be useful. It'll definitely see more use in Commander and some other bigger formats than Standard, because having a 12 mana card in Standard, the only use for that is getting out a 12/12 flying shark with Shark Typhoon. But yeah, I feel people have had mixed reception to this, but I think you could see some use. I wouldn't be annoyed if I got this. But you got a volcano onto a meteorite. So this is a reprint. Last seen in Mystery Booster and Magic Origins 2015. It's essentially a shock attached to a mana rock. It's a mana shock. People, are hyped about it, but it's one of those colourless reprints that is just there because it fills some purpose. If you pull this in a draft, could be quite useful. 2 damage to any target isn't bad, and it's a mana rock attached to that. But for 1 mana less, you can have a shock and just a mana rock in your deck normally. Then you got Soulseer. It deals 5 damage to a creature or planeswalker. They lose indestructible to end of turn. A really nice effect. 5 damage for 3 mana, first of all, is amazing without that second effect. But the fact it loses indestructible to end of turn, very good in certain scenarios. Not sure, can't think of anything on the top of my head from this new set which has indestructible. But you can tell they made this not necessarily for this set, but possibly for Zendikar Rising, if they've got any indestructible stuff coming up. But yeah, I could see this getting lots of play. It's just 5 damage for 3 is very nice. You've got the Magic subreddit's release, which was Obsessive Stitcher. Tap to draw a card, then discard. And then for 4 mana, sacrificing the Stitcher. Creature from your battlefield, creature from your graveyard goes to the battlefield. Yeah, well, I could see some use for this. This could definitely be of some use for 4 mana and sacking a creature. You could get some abilities in there. So any cards which you like, any time a creature dies, create a token. Mostly with like the black zombie type cards, and you get to return a creature of any mana cost. So yeah, I would probably get this just to shove in one of my like graveyard decks. Then we've got Idol of Endurance, revealed by Sebastian Pozzo, one of the Magic players, like Magic tournament players. So this effect is the teased one that Marrow mentioned with all those keywords in. So when it enters the battlefield, exile all creature cards with CMC 3 or less from your graveyard until it leaves the battlefield. And for 2 mana, until end of turn, you may cast a creature spell from among the cards exiled without paying its mana cost. So if this stays on the board, it's definitely useful. However, if it leaves the board and like if it's is it Unmoored? I don't think it's Unmoored. I can't remember the card, but Unmoored Ego, I think it is, where they just search for all cards with that name and exile them. If you exile a bunch of cards with Idol of Endurance and they all go, you're screwed because all your cards are now exiled. But people are going to be putting this in Lurrus decks straight away. This is definitely a card you could see with Lurrus written all over it. Next up, another non-English Korean question mark card. I'm pretty sure it's Korean. It is Vital Rising. You put a 1/1 counter on a creature, and then you can double the number of 1/1 counters on that creature. So it's essentially a 1-use Hydra's Growth, and it's amazing. I'm loving it. It's I love my 1/1 counters. I love my big green stumpy stuff. I've got so many decks that this will be useful in. I've got an X cost Hydra deck that I'm building up. If you haven't seen the video, I've got a video out where I go through my Zexara upgrade plans from the most recent precons. I've got my Goreclaw Big Green Stompy deck that I've also done a video on, and so yeah, this card could be useful in all those decks. Then we've got Grasp of Darkness. This was Card Kingdom's announcement. They didn't actually have an announcement, but I assume they probably come under the in Magic community. But I just shoved it down here just because one comment on the Magic subreddit made me laugh. So he's shielding his eyes from the sun more than likely, but people keep saying it looks like an Eldrazi wearing a sombrero, and no one can ever unsee that now. It's a good reprint for a common. Last seen 2016 for 2 mana. A creature gets -4/-4. Black's always going to need these kind of cards. For 1 more mana, then I can't remember the name of it, but it has 2 artworks. One's the guy in the chain, the other one's the lion trying to escape. It's like Dire's Grasp, I believe. And so yeah, this one is good reprint. And finally, we come to Marrow's tease or preview card. He was playing Hangman, trying to tease people the cards with like letters at a time. But here's a card I did not expect to, first of all, get printed this set, second of all, get reprinted, I don't want to say ever, but it was definitely a shock when I saw Fabled Passage is getting a reprint. The Throne of Eldraine card, one of the best Throne of Eldraine lands there was, is coming back. Now, I am excited for this. I am going to be using my Magic wildcards to be crafting more of these, because in non-monocolor decks, this is a staple, because you get to search for a land of any type, no mana cost, you can do it straight away, and it can come in untapped if it's more than 4 turns in, or if you have 4 lands and somehow manage to get a load of land out early. But I am so happy about this. I'm really happy Marrow managed to get this out. But yeah, that's pretty much it for all the cards that have come out. There was one other person who was on this list, Now Gaiden. He's Argentinian, I believe, but he has not previewed his card yet. He's many time zones ahead of us because he's in America. Or no, behind us technically. I can't even remember which way around it is now. No, it's behind us. And so he could be releasing his card later today, but it's currently 6 PM and he hasn't released a card, so I'm just like, might as well just do the video now. He might come in later like Epic did with their cards. But yeah, we've got some good cards coming out. Tomorrow you've got... I've got my list here. So already a bunch have come out. We've got Magic Japan, the Magic Facebook, Daily MTG are coming back. Card Game Player's got a preview. And from what I've seen, none of the cards have shone at the minute. But you've got, I'll just give you a tease of Leafkins, Tree Folk, Dinosaur, and more Garrick cards. Yeah, thank you guys very much for watching me rambling on about Core Set 2021. I'm extremely excited for this set. This is looking amazing. And I will hopefully see you in the next video tomorrow. Goodbye.